brighten up those already bright mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the Cabin.
It's the start of Folk on the Rocks week. That's exciting. We'll get onto that a little bit later on in the show, because I feel like I've got a whole bunch that I just need to get out of me to do with that. But first, I got a whole bunch that I need to get out of me to do with voting online, because this fall...
Thrilling.
Yeah, right? This is when you know the morning show's being controlled by Ollie today. Ways to tell that Wheeler is not in the studio. Ollie gets to talk first. Ollie gets to talk about online voting at length and be like, everybody, stop what you're doing. Now you're going to have a 5-minute-long sermon on online voting.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
All right.
Are you sitting comfortably? Then I shall begin. Okay, online voting this fall. First province or territory anywhere in Canada to try this means that from about the 19th of August, if you want, you can go online and apply for an absentee ballot, which essentially means you're telling them, like, I'm not going to be around on the day, so I want to be able to vote some other way.
Right.
And in the past, that would mean you'd get a little thing mailed to you that you then return, and that's your vote. Now, if you like, you can ask to get an online link instead, and you get a PIN number sent to you, and then you can go online anytime, sort of probably throughout most of September, and then vote online.
Okay. Like anytime.
Just like, pretty much anytime. You can just go on, enter in your vote, and then hit submit, presumably, and off it goes into the ether, and it gets counted somewhere.
Preliminary question.
Yeah.
Can you change your vote if you change your mind?
Same way you can't do any other way either. There's all sorts of ways to vote before Election Day. You can't, like, write to them and say, you know that vote I mailed in last week?
Right.
Well, now I've heard the bugger speak, and now...
But it's online. There's no mailing.
Now I just don't like him anymore, so give me back that vote that I posted in. I'm going to cross him out. I'm going to vote for her instead, because I think he's a moron. No, you can't do that.
Come on.
Nope.
Simple as setting up a profile.
You're going to have to hack into it.
Unchecking one box.
Nope.
Checking the other box.
You're going to have to write to your Russian friends and say, hey, would you mind? I've voted badly. I need you to just go in and just change my vote to that guy.
Well, I heard in the news just moments ago that the Russians aren't interested in our election.
Well, that's what we think. That's what Elections NWT has decided, that the Russians probably aren't interested. If I were the Russians, I'd be like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like, that's a challenge.
Oh, you think you know what we're interested in, huh?
Because, the NWT, not to disparage Elections NWT, but being the relatively small place we are, I feel like it's, half a day's work for the Russians? At best. Yeah. It's like, it's a
They're
morning...
very efficient.
It's a morning job.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, Sergey, just go take a look at this NWT election that's going on. Just go through there and see if we can't install a puppet leader.
Well, Sergey could probably use a little pocket change, a little extra rent money.
Right, it's a trade.
I don't think it's
a trading job, right? Yeah. The US election coming up next year. Listen, Sergey, we need you to be on your game for that one. So why don't you just go practice? Here's an election in the NWT. I don't know. See if you could install a goat as premier. And lo and behold, November comes around and there's a goat installed as premier of the Northwest Territory. Everybody's looking at, why is a goat leading the territory? That's Russians. They got us.
Well, that Ollie guy really loves goats, so I mean, like, maybe it's plausible. I don't know.
I, for one, welcome our new goat overlord. Yeah, it's not just you guys that can do Simpsons quotes on the morning show.
Very nice. We got the reference in. Hit the quota.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you were worried as well with just me in the office.
A little concerned.
Yeah, I got it.
Well done.
Thanks.
Well done. We can trust you.
So the whole online voting thing, the security issue is always there. We are told that it'll be okay.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay.
Are you safely reassured?
Reasonably.
Would you go down this road? Because it's an absentee ballot thing, but really anyone can just declare themselves in need of an absentee ballot. So anyone can do this.
I probably wouldn't, for the sole reason of the scenario I just kind of brought up, that if you like suddenly changed your mind, you couldn't change your vote. So I would like to be like right down the last minute in case someone says something just exceedingly stupid on the last day before the election happens.
Well, you see, that is the other thing about this, and I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a compressed old timeline, this election. So the nominations open on the 2nd of September.
Right.
There's a 5-day period where people can officially confirm themselves as candidates. Right now, you've got all sorts of people announcing that they're going to run, but you're not officially running until September starts and you can put in your papers.
Right.
So everyone, we have to be very careful how we report on this. You have to say, like, they're intending to stand. You can't say they are running, because technically they're not yet.
Right.
So only in September do we actually get a list of candidates confirmed. Then you've got like 3 weeks and a bit till election day.
Okay.
So that is a pretty short window to hear from everybody.
That's true.
But the thing is, you can vote from pretty much the second week of September through absentee ballots, vote online, or go into the office of your returning officer and vote, whatever.
Right.
And so some people could vote like a couple days after nominations close when you haven't really had a chance to hear from anybody.
No, I mean, if you know who you're going to vote for anyway, you just know their policies, you know the kind of, maybe you know them personally. You could probably make a pretty assured guess vote at that point.
Right.
But
that sort of to that point, that tends to favor the people who are already in power, because chances are they're the ones you know best.
Yeah.
Not always true.
No.
But chances are.
Yeah.
And
the general population. Yeah. If you don't actually know the people, then chances are you've heard of.
Oh, that guy. I heard of that guy.
Person.
He seems all right. I'm going to vote for him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there could be like 5 other candidates who don't have the chance to get to you.
Right.
Because you've already decided, that guy, I'll vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with a compressed window like this one, is it forces people to behave themselves by waiting patiently
being
to
forced
vote
to behave themselves.
I know, and people are very bad at that, Scott. So we demonstrate on a regular basis inside this very studio. People are bad at that. So you have to wait patiently. And if there's one thing I could tell everybody this election, it's wait and make an educated decision. Right? You have the opportunity to vote really early. If for whatever reason you are absolutely convinced from the off that you have to vote for that one human being, fine, go for it. But if you have any doubt whatsoever, give it a while. Give it till the back end of September. Read all the articles, the interviews, listen to people, then make a decision. Vote on election day if you can on election day. I totally agree with you. Take your time.
Sounds like some bleeding heart liberal propaganda if I ever heard it. But
okay. Those liberals and their insistence on educated voting decisions.
I also find this really interesting that you have such an interest in this. Like, you came into this break being like, we're going to talk about something that is really interesting to me. And you don't vote.
Well, I can't.
And you never have.
Well, all right, that admittedly is my own fault, but I can't, I physically can't right now. You guys don't let me as a non-Canadian.
$600, come on.
Yeah,
lay it down.
It's too pricey. There is not one politician in this territory that I would pay $600 to vote for.
I also enjoy the really fun hypothetical scenario that this time last year, when Jesse was supposedly making a run, not for MLA or anything like that, but for city council, if this was an option for that, and then someone casted a vote for Jesse ahead of time, and then he dropped out, what happens then?
Well, you kind of can't drop out after a certain point.
Okay.
So
you're locked in.
You're locked in. So you could say to everybody, "Oh, I'm not running anymore," but past a certain point, your name is on that ballot come what may. And so people could all vote for you. And then
how fun would that be?
And then basically you would just have to not turn up.
Yeah.
and eventually they'd all have to presumably hold another election and vote someone else in because you didn't bother turning up.
Okay, that'd be pretty fun.
That would be pretty funny. Maybe we should put Jesse forward for that. There is talk that we're going to run Jesse Wheeler for deputy MLA.
Right, yes.
Which, of course, is not a thing, just as we tried to run him for deputy mayor last time round, which you also can't do.
Neither is Folk Monday, but we made that a thing.
We made that a thing, so why can't we make this a thing? Your deputy MLA for Yellowknife Centre, Jesse Wheeler.
By default.
Yeah.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
It is Folk on the Rocks week. I have Lecter and AJ in studio with me. AJ, you have been constructing things all weekend. Give us the Cabin Radio Folk on the Rocks construction update.
Well, it was going to be about my big plan was to extend the broadcast stage and build like an overhead thing, like a roof over. Yeah,
overhead thing.
A roof thing.
Always a reassuring sign.
Yeah.
Overhead thing.
I didn't want to call it a roof just because structurally, probably not considered a roof.
Right, a shelter.
Yeah, a rain deterrent.
Yeah, a rain deterrent.
But I ended up kind of running out of time, so I've built a larger desk. As per the requests from the hosts of last year. It was a little tight.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We got well acquainted last year on that desk, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you can be a little more antisocial at the desk. Yeah.
A little more man-spreading going on underneath the desk.
Finally.
Okay.
That's what we need.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So that's what I got done. It's the exact same design of the table. We'll stain it the same. It'll look the exact same, just a big L shape.
Okay, if you are coming to Folk on the Rocks this weekend and you've never been before or you just weren't there last year, we got a stage now It's pretty cool. It's called the Cabin Stage. It's what used to be called the Lakefront Stage. It's still on the lakefront. It's just ours now. And it looks really cool. We're going to have people out there all week making it look amazing again. It apparently, I'm told, had a ton of good feedback from the artists themselves last year who loved playing the stage because it had things like there was a bear whose little face was poking in at the back. Not an actual bear, obviously. That'd be strange and dangerous.
It scares dogs, though.
Does it?
Oh, yeah. Friend's dog barks at that bear every time it goes by it.
I mean, it's a reasonably good facsimile of a bear.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Except for the coffee cup in the hand.
Yeah.
That's where you lose the realism of it.
Well, dogs are dumb.
Yeah, that's true.
The dog has not stopped to think, hang on, when was the last time I saw a bear with a latte?
Bears like tea. Why does he have a coffee in his hand?
Another Folk on the Rocks update, not related to the cabin stage, but related to stages. It looks like there will be a main stage.
Yeah, and it looks good.
It's looking really good. Yeah,
it looks very similar.
I
think the layout and the design.
Yeah, I don't think the plan was to change it at all. Yeah. I don't know. Like maybe they're just screwing up royally. It's just the same stage you had before.
Hey Bob, are you building from the old plans? Those are the old plans, Bob.
It looks a bit bigger. Like the dance stage area looks a little bit bigger, but that just could be because it's still kind of being fully fleshed out. But we received an update last week that it might not have a roof. Well, it'll be functional.
It's not that they won't have a roof.
Yes.
This is what we had clarity on this, and you can hear more about this tonight. Tell you about that in a second. It's not that they won't have a roof. They'll just have pretty much the old roof, which is a little bit leaky, and they were hoping to get to that in time. Right. The chances are they'll just do that after the festival now.
But it looks like there's a full roof on everything now. Was out there on the weekend, just yesterday afternoon, actually, and it looks like everything is covered over. The arc is covered over. The kind of dressing room, if you will, side area.
Dressing room, if you will.
If you will.
I love Folk on the Rocks. Here's the VIP area, if you will.
If you will.
Here's the broadcast area, if you will.
In theory.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like it's all covered over and enclosed like it was before. Again, I don't know if there's more planned for that aside from other than just painting and a few cosmetic decorations, but it's looking really good. They've done a fantastic job pulling that together.
Mm-hmm. Tonight, from 9 o'clock, there is a 2-hour Folk on the Rocks preview special. Brought to you by yours truly. My guest in the first hour is Teresa Horosco. She is the Folk Volunteer Coordinator. First of all, she would really like a few more helping hands out there. If you, as of yet, haven't got any plans for this weekend, you'd like a free entry to Folk on the Rocks in return for donating a few hours of your time, please go to folkontheRocks.com, get in touch with Teresa, because it takes 450 volunteers each year.
It's crazy.
Is that the number?
450.
Jeez. And that's from like a week before all the way to the end of the event, or?
I think that's just on site. I mean, I think some of it's to do with loading in and loading out and stuff. Yeah, but
it's probably in total from the people who are getting the grounds ready for, and then throughout the weekend.
That's a lot of volunteers.
Oh, that's a huge
in a town
effort.
Of 20,000. I mean, that ratio. That's crazy.
I mean, they could probably make do with less, but ideally,
back on message, Scott. Back on message.
They're volunteers, man.
That's probably the comfortable number to get everything done.
Teresa, I tried to get you more volunteers. Lex is just like, they'll be fine. You guys kick back, relax.
I just believe in them. That's all.
Okay.
I believe in the spirit.
Teresa's been in Yellowknife a month. She's the volunteer coordinator for Folk on the Rocks.
Oh my goodness.
That's when you know that somebody has not read the manual about how to avoid getting suckered into things in Yellowknife. You've been in town a month. You're the Folk on the Rocks volunteer coordinator.
Yeah. Dear Boards in Yellowknife, get a hold of this girl.
Yeah, exactly.
I like to think it's what they came here to do.
Teresa is in fact exactly what she came here to do.
Oh,
paid position, she came for the position. The problem is, it's a month-long position, obviously, because you can't really be the coordinator after Folk on the Rocks is finished. So if you've got a job for Teresa, let us know. Listen to her first hour tonight, 9 till 10. That was a ton of fun. And then Carly McFadden, the exec director of Folk on the Rocks, is with me 10 till 11 tonight. Teresa and Carly are picking their top 10 each tracks from Folk on the Rocks past, from acts past, and from acts that are coming up this summer as well. So that is a very good listen. You'll be able to get a full roof update from Carly McFadden. It sounds like the main stage is going to be dry. Sounds like the Cabin Radio broadcast stage is going to have a rain deterrent.
Yes, a roof kind of thing.
A roof kind of thing.
Scenes on the cabin.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm registered in this class.
What class?
This is U.S. history. I see the globe right there.
Really?
Hey, may I come in?
Oh, please. I get so lonely when I hear that third attendance bell ring and all my kids are not here.
Sorry I'm late. It's just like this new schedule is totally confusing. Hey, I know that dude.
Mr. Spicoli.
That's the name they gave me. You're ripping my card?
Yes.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
No problem at all. I think you know where the front office is.
You dick!
Scenes from the cabin. Know the movie? Submit your guest to mailbox at cabinradio.ca or send us a message on Facebook for your chance to win gift certificates to some awesome Yellowknife restaurants, including Zehabesha, Main Street Pizza, The Woodyard Eatery, Copper House Restaurant, and Java Roma. Listen to Cabin Radio every weekday to win or download the Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
A lot of sports action over the weekend. We'll get through the part that I don't really understand. First, Kawhi Leonard. One season and then screws off somewhere else. Lecter, why?
You don't understand?
One season? What was the point of that?
Well, it wasn't his option to go to Toronto. He was traded to Toronto.
Yeah, you see, I just don't understand any of this nonsense.
Well, so he basically had, I imagine he had some say because it's today's day and age, and high-profile athletes always have some kind of say. But yeah, he was traded to Toronto, of course, last year in a blockbuster trade with San Antonio.
But that worked out well, and Toronto's quite nice. I mean, why not stay? Why not stay?
Well, because he's from L.A., you know?
Well, I mean, exactly. All the more reason to be very familiar with LA and want to be very far away, preferably a continent away.
I'm actually prepping the Cabin Sports Radio sheet right now, as we speak. And sometimes I like to troll Mike a little bit. Unbreakable Mike Gibbons, of course, joining me each and every Monday night for Cabin Sports Radio.
The most casual of Raptors fans. Really nothing about Mike that says Raptors fan, apart from that photo of him watching the last game. Wrapped in...
Yes.
Was he not like wrapped in his flag?
We the
like,
North,
yeah. With a celebratory bottle of champagne, I believe, was in the photo as well.
He didn't wear that in public, surprisingly.
Huh.
Yeah. He's got a little restraint.
So we've established that Mike is a smidge of a Raptors fan.
Yeah, so sometimes I like to troll him once in a while if there's something going on that I know he cares deeply about with the headlines that I put into our prep sheet. So, for instance, here I've got... Kawhi signs with LA Clippers to escape Toronto gun violence. Says there are too many, quote, bad guys with guns north of the border, and he just wanted to be back home in peaceful Los Angeles.
Yeah, I feel like Mike's going to go for that. Knowing Mike as I do, I think that's going to be worth listening to.
You know, sports journalism is about digging a little deeper, getting a little beneath the surface and finding out what the real story is. You know what I mean?
Digging a little deeper under the skin of the person opposite you.
That's right.
Yeah, just really getting...
And just dwelling under there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 o'clock this evening, by the way, Cabin Sports Radio, always worth your time, particularly if you, like me, need a little help, explaining the actions of these basketball megastars. I don't know, I come from a world where if you just won a title with a team, you'd at least hang on for one more season to see if they're going to do it again. But, who am I? Are the Clippers any good?
I don't think so. I think getting a guy like Kawhi Leonard, much like the Toronto Raptors were good the last, however many seasons before Kawhi Leonard got there, but they weren't great. But you put a superstar like Kawhi Leonard in there, and suddenly, the way the NBA works is that the players really create their own destiny now, especially the stars. Nobody signs anything longer than 1-year contracts. LeBron, I don't know what he's on now, but when he was in Cleveland, he was just signing 1-year contract after 1-year contract because he's like, I can go anywhere. Anyone would want me on their team. Thus, why would I not leave that option open? Right? So the thing is right now with Kawhi in LA, he becomes an attractive piece for other players who want to go to a championship franchise. He immediately makes them a contender because he makes them attractive to other potential support pieces to bring in. So they are good now because Kawhi Leonard is there.
Playing for a team called the Clippers, though. It's like a barbershop team. Play for the Yellowknife number 4 back and sides.
The Snippers.
Yeah. All right, that's Kawhi. Done. Women's World Cup. Congratulations to the USA.
Yeah.
Much as it pains me to have to watch the US win at anything in sports, I did watch the final. They probably deserved it. My one consolation in all of that was watching Megan Rapinoe score a goal.
Yes.
And just imagining the scene in the White House. Fox and Friends has been briefly turned off for 90 minutes.
Did you watch the game?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And you know what? Yeah, they probably deserved to win. The Dutch keeper played out of her skin.
Yeah.
And she had a fantastic game. But yeah, the US, they are the dominant force in women's soccer.
Isn't it nice to wake up on, a late Sunday morning, early afternoon, just flip on the TV and you can watch some championship sports just waiting for you at the ideal time to relax and settle in, have a cup of coffee.
Honestly, one of the greatest things about moving to Mountain Time in Canada for me has been that Premier League soccer starts at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. And so I can get up, enjoy my breakfast, watching my team play or whatever. Like every game, there's dozens of games on at that time. I could pick whichever one I want to watch. Then there's always one at 5:30 UK time, so that's 10:30 here.
Okay.
That'll get me through till around about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
Generally speaking, that's when the baseball or the hockey's starting. So then you can flip across to that, and that's the rest of the day.
We truly live in the greatest time zone in the world.
Yeah. I honestly, I would put that out there.
Yeah.
That Mountain Time is the greatest time zone in the world.
Yeah.
Just about everything happens at a respectable time of day.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like from a Canadian hockey fan's perspective, you can actually watch Hockey Night in Canada, both games, and still do something after that.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Go to bed at a reasonable hour, have a reasonable occasion of it.
It's amazing.
Mountain Time for a sports fan. I think that's the key. For a sports fan, Mountain Time is the time zone to live in.
Yeah.
Because every sports event worth talking about is accessible.
Yeah, it is fantastic. I didn't really have a dog in the fight. I don't even know what happened to Team Canada in the Women's World Cup of Soccer. Did they just flame out immediately?
I have the feeling it was in the round of 16.
Yeah.
It was not great.
Not a very good finish. Because what were they ranked, number 5?
Usually they're 5th or 6th in the world.
Yeah, so pretty disappointing for them.
It is. The funny thing for me about North American soccer is both the US and Canada, women's teams are among the best in the world. Men's teams, nowhere to be seen. The US men's team is ranked, 30th, 40th. It's not bad. Right. It's not the worst. The Canadian men's team.
Do we have one?
Yes.
Oh, we do. Okay.
Last month, they were 2-0 up against Haiti.
Oh, no.
With 20 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And lost 3-2 to Haiti.
Oh.
Which, Haiti's been through some stuff.
Yeah. Good for them.
If I... all credit to Haiti because you've gone through, there's a lot happening in that country. A lot to get over. Arguably, you'd think maybe Canada would have a slight advantage as a result, what with having a significantly larger population and nothing like the same range of issues domestically to go through.
Right.
But no, 2-0 up, lost 3-2.
No.
And the kind of team that I think last I looked ranked below places like the Solomon Islands.
Yeah.
Yeah, places that
powerhouse, the Solomon Islands.
Ought not to be ranked above Canada in any sport, and yet. And it's just strange to me. I think in one respect, it's a really good thing.
Yeah.
Because it shows the effort that North American countries have made for women's sports. Things like Title IX in the US, which provided equality in terms of funding for women's athletics.
Right.
The fact that their women's soccer teams are so good demonstrates the positive impact of that versus European teams.
It's interesting to me that, when the final, when the game was over, U.S. had won 2-0. They were talking about kind of wrapping up the tournament and talking about how the European countries in the Women's World Cup were really coming on, and over the last couple of years had really improved, and within the next few years, it's not going to be the U.S. just dominating.
Yep.
Which is really interesting because I was thinking about that in regards to women's hockey, where it's just, I don't understand why it hasn't happened that way. It's still Canada, U.S. That's it. You would have thought Sweden, Finland, Russia, over the last few years or so, that they would have kind of been rising to that level, but it's just not the same for some reason.
And I remember back in a past life reporting on Sid Crosby's sister. Who I think is called Taylor Crosby, if my memory serves. I might be getting that wrong. She came over. She's a goalie. She came over and ran clinics in Europe to improve European players.
Okay.
Because the sport of women's hockey knows that if it just stays US and Canada, the Olympics will kick it out.
Yeah.
Because it's not competitive enough.
Yeah.
So the US and Canadian stars were actively coming over to Europe to train European teams to be better.
to try and keep the sport going. Yeah.
Because to keep the sport going. Because
Right.
otherwise they knew that if it's just the US and Canada fighting between themselves,
Everyone loses.
everyone loses.
Yeah.
It's not a competitive sport. It's not really a watchable sport as a result, and then it'll get kicked out of the program.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting that still hasn't really happened in that sport. But, hey, one last, in this little preview that we have of Cabin Sports Radio, one last thing. I did promise the NWT women's basketball team that I would give them a little shout-out as they ran a nice little car wash.
And here it is.
Outside the co-op. Well done! Thank you to the women's basketball team! There it goes. Good luck to those guys. They've been doing a bunch of fundraising. I don't know if they have any other fundraisers coming up. If they do, they should send us a little email and let us know. We'll give them a shout out.
Absolutely.
But well done to them for my glistening vehicle this morning. Of course, it rained cats and dogs on Sunday, so really, I needn't have bothered. Can I have that $20 back? No. You know what? Never mind. All right, that'll do it for Mornings at the Cabin. Once we donate to charities, we should probably just leave the donation there.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.